The first step we have to take when testing a directive is to get Karma configured correctly. Now this only matters if you're going to be using external templates. If you're not using external templates, then as long as Karma is running for other unit tests, Karma is fine for your directive tests. But if you're going to be using external templates, there's a couple extra configuration options you have to set within Karma in order to prepare it for testing your directives. The reason for this is that normally, when Angular encounters a directive that specifies an external template, Angular will then make a GET request for the template that that directive uses. When we're running our tests under Karma, we don't want that GET request to fire. Instead, we want to have our templates already loaded to allow Karma to provide those templates for us. So in order to get Karma to provide those templates, we have to do two things. First, we go up into the list of files, and we add our templates to the list of files that Karma will load. Since my base path is the app directory, and all I need to load up is the templates for the directives, I can add the following line of code. By adding this line of code, I've told Karma that I want it to load all of those HTML files in this directory. But just loading those HTML files isn't enough. In addition to that, I need Karma to process those HTML files and be able to provide those nodes back. There's a special preprocessor built into Karma called HTML2JS that does exactly this. It will read an HTML file and create a piece of JavaScript that will recreate that HTML file as DOM nodes. So in order to process our templates that way, we have to add that preprocessor to our configuration file. I do that by adding the following section. This configuration will take care of that for me. Now there's one very important thing that you need to be aware of whenever setting Karma up for testing directives, and that is that the path to the templates of your directive needs to match exactly the template URL property in our directive. Now for this demo, we're going to test the event thumbnail directive. So let's go into that directive and look at the path that it specifies for its template. Okay, you can see here that the URL to that template is partials directives event thumbnail.html with no leading slash. If I go back to my config file, I can see that those paths have the same relative base path. So one of the ways I could get this wrong is by changing my base path. Let's say, for example, that I made my base path the root directory of app. By doing that, now in order to get to the partials, I'd have to specify app/partials like this. And then I'd have to make a corresponding change down in the preprocessor. But this wouldn't work because these two paths do not share a same relative base with the path inside of the directive. This path again starts right with partials, so I need my paths within my Karma configuration to start with the folder partials. So if I undo those changes, I've got my Karma configured correctly in order to test directives with external templates.